This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Encompass Health, Rehabilitation Hospital of New England, and North Shore Community College. If you have the will to attend college, we have the way for you to earn your degree.
Hello, this is LCTV News, and I'm Dani Vittori. As we begin Pride Month, we had members of United Pride in to discuss events for this month and year-round. For news, government took center stage, Memorial Day was celebrated, and high school is coming to an end for seniors. Here's the news for Friday, June 2nd, 2023. Through the bipartisan infrastructure law, the Environmental Protection Agency has granted $500,000 to Lynn in order to clean up the former site of Whyte's Enterprise Laundry, 83 Willow Street. The building was demolished in 2000, but it left behind a 5-foot pit containing volatile chemicals which could hurt public health. $1 million has already been allocated to study and remedy the site, and this grant will allow the city to further their efforts. The grant was applied for through EDIC, the Planning Department, and the City of Lynn, and now that it has been secured, Associate Planner Lauren Drago will be the project manager. The site has presented a problem to surrounding properties and the downtown area for many years, and this money will help revitalize the land not fit for public use. Raw Artworks hosted a block party at their building and Center Square to celebrate their seniors and give people a fun afternoon on the 25th. Artwork from graduating Raw seniors hung on the walls as people lined the streets to celebrate all their accomplishments. Here is more.
Right now we are throwing our yearly block party. It's open to the community, and it's an exhibit where we showcase all of our kids' hard work and artwork right behind us in that building right there. We got about 300 kids, and they all do beautiful artwork. We got food, we got chalk, we got bubbles, we got jump ropes.
We're having a lot of fun right now. We got pizza over there, we got cotton candy over there, we got lollipops over there. It's just kind of cool, you know?
This event is important because it brings the community together. We get to celebrate our seniors who are going off into the world. We also get to celebrate our youth. If you haven't heard of Raw Artworks, please check us out. We are our therapy-based program, so the kids that come here come and get to express their emotions in a way that they don't get to do it in school, and we are proud to be able to open up our doors to the community, and it's a free program, so we're just trying to get Lynn to party.
Also on the 25th, as part of a larger Memorial Day celebration, flags were placed at the graves of 10,000 veterans in Pine Grove Cemetery. Military members, community members, and students all came together to celebrate local veterans. Take a look.
Every year we come out here on Memorial Day, the week of Memorial Day, and as you can see, this incredible group of volunteers comes out to decorate graves for veterans who are here in the veteran lots here in Pine Grove Cemetery.
Well, today here we are. It's for Memorial Day weekend. We do it every year. We flag the graves of the people who are no longer with us. We try to get it done before Monday, before the ceremony for Monday. Every year it seems to be growing. This year it actually seems to be a pretty large crowd between having the Lynn ROTC here, the Lynn Skills kids here, East Lynn Little League Athletics, they're here, amongst other veterans and families of veterans.
Today at Flags and Graves, we are going to be putting little flags on the graves, and it's just a way of celebrating the veterans who passed during wars, and in a way, this is just us honoring and kind of doing our part in helping out the community and just showing what it means, what Memorial Day means.
It's important to never forget, to always remember, because we wouldn't be where we are without them. To honor their memory, some of them don't. Sometimes this is the only way they get honored, is by us doing this today. So we can never forget them.
Such a wonderful night. We come out here, we flag about 10,000 graves in one night, and it's a great way to start the weekend for Memorial Day, because it's a great reminder of the sacrifice of the men and women who were buried here.
The Health Equity Compact, Leaders of Color Advocating for Healthcare Equity in Massachusetts, have a new member, Dr. Carlos Capas, the Chief Behavioral Officer at Lynn Community Health Center. Capas has previously been involved in talks and panels focused on equity in the health center system, which is what led him to this compact. He believes he can share how patients struggle to find doctors who speak the same language as them, especially in the mental health field, from the perspective of a provider. Additionally, the compact recently filed a bill for the 2023-24 legislative session aimed at improving equity in the healthcare system for Massachusetts, titled An Act to Advance Health Equity. According to Capas, quote, "We need to have the hard conversations. We need to continue to build on what we're doing, what we believe in, and we need the right people. We need to be thoughtful about how we do it as well. But I think by really building, this expansion is going to help us to really learn how to do that, even beyond what we have already," end quote. The Senior Center hosted a barbecue on Friday the 26th in celebration of Memorial Day. Seniors enjoyed a classic meal of burgers surrounded by American flags and balloons. Here's a clip from the event.
Right now we are celebrating the Memorial Day. You know, we are thinking about the heroes that passed away during the war. This is a type of a sort of honor for them.
This is your first time cooking with them?
Oh yeah, this is my first time. It feels great. The environment is amazing. Everybody's happy. We have a lot of food. We have an environment of friendship and gratitude about the passed away soldiers. We are passing a really good time here. I have to look for the preparation of the food here every single day for the senior centers. I have to look for the hygiene and menu, balanced food, you know, always thinking about them, because, you know, the diet of senior center, of seniors is not the same for the younger people. So we do our job with passion and always thinking about the seniors' well-being. I would like to invite the seniors here in Lynn to come over here and share with us and look the environment and enjoy our passion to serve them, enjoy the environment and the benefits to be here with us, sharing with another people, socializing, you know, that's very important.
A tradition stretching back over 40 years was carried out this past weekend with the annual Goldfish Pond Planting Day. Community members lined up to pass plants onto the island before getting their hands dirty to place them in several of the flower beds around the pond. Take a look.
My name is Trish Green. I'm with the Goldfish Pond Association here in Lynn, and today is planting day. It's always held on the Saturday, Memorial Day weekend, and it's a tradition been going on for more than 40 years now, where we bring thousands of plants out here to our little island and plug them into the ground. We have lots of volunteers here today. Here we have Leah and Scott. This is our bed. We are going to have the best looking bed this summer. We have a mixture of marigolds, cosmos, cannas, and a perennial lily that's going to pop up for about 2 feet. So when you're walking around the pond this summer and you see this bed, maybe we should have some type of competition. We have somebody over there putting in a whole bed of marigolds. That's going to look real pretty. Demetrius over here did a bed of all red. And our center bed, where we have our American flag, is all different colors. So Ted's designing that one, and it looks great. Okay, so we put the plants in today, and we do have a sprinkler system out here. We also have soaker hoses. So the sprinkler system goes on every morning, and we'll go for about 10 minutes, wetting everything down. And then once a week, we have teams, rotating teams of volunteers that will come out to the island, mow the grass, and pull the weeds and just check on the plants. So it's a summer-long process of volunteers, and it works. The pond looks great all summer.
Why do you think it's so important to keep this going?
Because it's important to keep your neighborhood beautiful. Okay, Lynn is struggling in a lot of areas. All right, we have very messy areas in the city, and when people come down here, it is an oasis. We're trying to promote a beautiful and safe neighborhood here.
Ferry service is returning to Lynn as EDIC voted unanimously on the 31st to sign a lease with the MBTA. The lease is currently 2 years, with the option of an additional 3-year extension. This will allow EDIC to use the pier, terminal, and parking lot to operate a commuter ferry to Boston and is expected to be operational by the end of June. The MBTA is responsible for all costs, and so far it has been announced there will be multiple trips to Boston in the mornings with returns later in the afternoon, and the price will be significantly lower than the $7 one-way fare it was the last time the ferry was operational back in 2015. The ferry is also not just an option for commuters, but also those looking to visit Boston for a day, or even those traveling to Cape Cod, which does require a secondary ferry trip. With the Sumner Tunnel closing from July 5th to August 31st, the city wishes to provide a viable alternative, as this will make travel into Boston much more difficult and time-consuming, according to Mayor Gerald Nicholson. This was a collaborative effort between the city, state, and the governor's office. In recognition of Memorial Day and the many members of the military who made the ultimate sacrifice serving their country, Lynn held a procession and ceremony. City and state officials, veterans, active military members, and community members came out to acknowledge those killed while serving, as well as the Gold Star families living with that loss. Here's more from the event.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains, majesties above thy fruited plain.
My name is Mike Sweeney. I'm the Director of Veteran Services, and I want to welcome you here as we join together in Lynn on Memorial Day to remember the fallen.
Over the years in the various wars this country has fought, who made that ultimate sacrifice, as well as their families, the Gold Star families who have grieved ever since that occasion and need to know that we are here to support them as they continue to remember their loved ones.
One of the things that we look at as a city here is the flags that we have before us and the people that are gone before us. You have to keep telling the story of those people, and part of Memorial Day is about that.
Stories of the brave, acts of big and small, sacrifice, and service are what we remember today.
This has been a picture-perfect Memorial Day weekend. Beaches are full, boats are launched, the flowers are planted. But for the nearly 400 Massachusetts military families whose loved ones died in battle or as a result of their service to our country, the weekend's more joyful traditions are always tinged with grief and sadness. The place at the table remains empty, the space in the photo unfilled. We are here to remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice. We are here to set aside time and space in our hearts to take that grief on as our own.
All 5 high schools competed in the Lynn All-City Track and Field Championships on the 30th. The competition was started back in 2019 and at the time was the only time when all 5 schools competed against each other. Ultimately, it was the St. Mary's boys and Lynn Tech girls track and field team who proved victorious. More than 7 records were broken throughout the meet, including Lazuli Clark of Kip, who set records in both the 400 hurdles and shot put. Every team had at least one winner, led by St. Mary's, where 11 different players secured a victory. Lynn Classical had 4, Tech with 3, English had 2, and Kip had 1. Here's more from the event.
On your marks, set.
On Tuesday, May 30th, Lynn Public Schools had their annual All-City Track and Field Championship at Manning Field, the last time for high school seniors to compete at Manning Field as student athletes. Led by St. Mary's coach Tristan Smith, participants included boys and girls from Lynn English, Lynn Classical, Lynn Tech, St. Mary's, and Kip Academy. Many in the Lynn community helped to sponsor the event. Notably, Lynn Veteran Services partnered with the schools to help raise money for Hero Meals, a Military Friends Foundation program that serves meals as a thank you to veterans who have served the United States. Lynn Veteran Services Director Mike Sweeney even spoke to the students before they began competing.
One way we honor the fallen is by taking care of the living. And that's what we're doing with this food drive and other things we do in this community and around this community for veterans. So I want to thank everyone involved.
Mayor Nicholson also spoke.
It's so nice to have these citywide events to not only take pride in your team, to take pride in your community, to take pride in your city. And I will accept a challenge from any counselor or candidate in a 40-yard dash.
The final results proved quite decisive for 2 schools, as St. Mary's boys won with a score of 212, while Lynn Tech came out on top of the girls' competition with a score of 185. But most important of all was the sportsmanship of fellow students and everyone involved in what proved to be quite a successful day for the Lynn community. For LCTV News, I'm Josh Englander.
This past Tuesday, the City Council Budget Committee held budget hearings for city departments for the upcoming fiscal year. Each department took turns presenting their 2023 fiscal budget and what their funding would look like if approved for 2024. Both the police and fire departments are looking to hire new officers to combat increasing crime levels and replace firefighters who are retiring. Fire Chief Dan Sullivan is also looking to manage the department's assets and create better reports through the use of a new software program. Turning to the Department of Public Works, the figure they gave to run the department is $15.9 million. Their biggest concern is litter in parks and public spaces. Several other departments shared, including the Mayor's Office, Council on Aging, Department of Veteran Services, and many others. The next step will be a public hearing and council deliberations, taking place later this month on the 13th. The Greater Lynn Chamber of Commerce held a ribbon cutting at Red Rock Park on Wednesday the 31st to celebrate the grand opening of a new business called Focus on Safety. Anyone in the community was invited to learn more about this 12-week program. Take a look.
We're doing a ribbon cutting for the Greater Lynn Chamber of Commerce for my business, Focus on Safety. and we've invited anybody and everybody to come out for the ribbon cutting. It's the official grand opening of my business through the Lynn Chamber, and that's why we're here on this beautiful day. Our program focuses on doing educational trainings on active shooter survival awareness. We do seminars in the NRA Refuse to be a Victim program, and we also have a 12-week anger management program. I actually teach the Alive program, which was set up by Michael Julian in 2014. The reason it's called Alive is it talks about the 5 steps of how to keep yourself safe. So it would be assess, leave, impede, violence, and expose. And so we want people to know how to react in a situation if it does occur. And the Refuse to be a Victim is a 4-hour training, and it talks about safety in all aspects of your life. So it talks about safety at travel, at the home, for seniors, for younger children, and it gives all the information about personal safety that you can keep yourself safe with that. And the anger management program is a 12-week program. It's 90 minutes a week for 12 weeks. We do give a certificate of completion when it's done.
Off camera, Wendy clarified to me that these programs are in fact not about firearms or self-defense.
We want you to be able to watch out for each other. That's the most important thing, whether it be office mate or neighbor or whatever, of just working together to keep each other safe in this world.
Next in line is the sports update. The Boston Pride, the professional women's hockey team, has announced the signing of goalie Katie Burt. Burt is a Lynn native and played for the Pride for the 2018, 2019, and 2021-22 seasons before moving to the Metropolitan Riveters for a year. In the 2021-22 season, she posted 12 wins, including 7 shutouts, and held the longest shutout streak in PHF history, going 214-55 over 5 games without allowing a goal. She also set the record for goals against average and save percentage between the pipes. In college, she stayed local, playing for Boston College, where she set the record for NCAA wins with 121 in 146 games. In an inter-city rivalry, St. Mary's baseball blanked English 9-0 in the first round of the Doug Mullins tournament to advance to the finals. The offense was led by Tad Giardina, who recorded 2 hits for 2 RBIs. They then won the championship 4-1 over Classical. It was a back-and-forth game, tied 1-1 in the second, with neither pitcher giving much to hit. Spartan Josh Dani allowed just 6 hits and 1 run in a complete game. 4 different St. Mary's players recorded runs as they held off a late surge by the Rams for the title. Between the 2 tournament games, Spartans pitcher Tommy Fasca earned the MVP nod with his complete shutout of the Bulldogs. Their 9-game winning streak was then snapped by St. John's Prep when the Eagles visited and won 2-1. For track, Kyle Kwatek qualified for the All-State competition, notching a 26-second personal best in the 2-mile in last week's Division V championship, placing 5th overall. In softball, the Spartans were also the victors in the John Holland tournament, 13-1 over Classical. They recorded their best season in program history as this win moves them to 19-1. Michaela Walker earned the MVP title, going 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs in the game. Lynn Tech baseball is still clinging to playoff hopes, despite falling to Neshoba 10-8. The Tigers came alive in late innings, but it was not enough to close the gap. Hosting Salem Academy on Memorial Day, they secured their spot in the state tournament with the 5-1 victory. Even though the Tigers only had 4 hits on the day, they stole 14 bases, which proved to be the difference. Dylan DeFilippo supported this effort, throwing 6 in the 3rd innings with 12 strikeouts in their final game of the season. Tech volleyball beat Whittieri 3-1. Elmer Duran had 8 digs, 8 assists, 2 aces, and 1 kill, while Jaden Tran recorded 16 digs and 3 aces. It took 4 sets, but a 25-21 victory allowed the Tigers to end the season on a high note. Tech softball finished off their season with a 16-1 loss to Neshoba Tech, bringing their overall record to 3-16. The Lynn English softball team is headed to the Division I state tournament for the first time in 24 years. They beat Swampscott 6-5 in the consolation game of the John Holland tournament to punch their ticket. In the consolation game of the Doug Mullins tournament, Bulldogs baseball was also victorious over Swampscott 10-6. They broke free of a 4-4 tie in the 5th and never looked back. The Lynn Classical softball team has had a strong season of 12-7. Most recently, they beat the Swampscott Big Blue 9-6. This was followed by a 13-1 loss to St. Mary's. Amid a flurry of inter-city games, the Rams and the Spartans met several times, with St. Mary's coming out on top in all 3 games. The Red Sox have split the last 6 games 3-3. They won the first 2 against the Arizona Diamondbacks before losing the last in their 9-game road trip. Pitcher Chris Sale had a strong night for the Sox in the 26th, giving up only 1 run and striking out 3 in 5 innings of work. They won a tight 2-1 game on the 27th before falling 4-2, where Boston once again struggled to produce offense. A late game surge back home against the Cincinnati Reds fell just short. Trailing 9-3 going into the 9th, the Sox scored 5, but were unable to get the tying run across home plate. They lost again 5-4 before rebounding with a surge of offensive power to end the series with an 8-2 victory, which included homers by Kike Hernandez and Connor Wong. In a disappointing week for Boston sports, the Celtics were mowed down by the Miami Heat in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals by a score of 103-84. Turnovers and injuries plagued the Celtics as Jason Tatum hurt his ankle on the first play of the game. He still clocked 42 minutes of playing time, but only scored 14 points. Add to that 15 turnovers and only shooting 39% from the field, and they were unable to match the energy from Miami. There remains no team to ever come back from 3-0 games down to advance to the NBA championship. On this week's edition of The Lowdown, members of United Pride came on to discuss upcoming events for Pride Month. This includes a flag raising, rainbow bridge lighting, and youth pride. Here is The Lowdown. Good morning and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori, and today we have on the President and Executive Director of United Lynn Pride, Cristian Recinos. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Because we had you on a little while ago too for the Cultural Council. So you're just everywhere.
Right, I'm doing a million things, but I'm happy to be back.
Great. So the organization you're president of has been around about a year and a half or so you're relatively new. How's that been going?
Yep, so United Lynn Pride, it's a young organization, officially just got the 501c3 status this past fall or so. It's going well. You know, it seems like the need has always been there. So often I think the LGBTQ plus community in Lynn has to travel between Boston or Salem as other LGBTQ plus hubs. But it's nice to have something here in the city. And there's a lot of electricity, As soon as things got off the ground, I was already receiving emails from, people who came out of the woodwork looking for resources, wanting assistance specifically for the LGBTQ plus community. So yeah, it's going good so far. And obviously, the snowball's just rolling and getting bigger and getting more and more exciting.
Oh yeah, definitely. And as we're going to be entering into Pride Month in June, and so as President Executive Director, what is your role as you start to, or as you're looking at events or things you're going to be doing throughout the month?
Yeah, so the general mission of United Lynn Pride is to empower and build the community here in the city, and that's through various types of events, educational, recreational, and specifically for the month, we're going to have our main week of events, the second annual, well, third almost, because informally, events were always happening in Lynn. The Pride flag raising has been happening for, I think, a little over a decade now. But these past 3 years, between United Lynn Pride, Queer Lynn Scene, and then also other just independent events that have been happening between the city. I think the library would do stuff. City Hall would do a couple of different things. The Public Health Department, I remember I got invited to do a conversation at one time. So we're continuing with the multi-event week. So the main week's going to be June 18th through the 24th, but our first event that's actually going to kick off the month is going to be the Friday the 2nd, where we're going to be partnering with Gala, and there's going to be an art exhibit. And then we're also doing another event outside week at the end of the month, the 28th, Kayak and Sail Lynn. There's going to be a boating event on the water. And then I can go through the whole week, but I don't know if it'll be too long-winded.
No, not at all. You can. So I was actually going to ask you about some of the specific events. So.
Okay, yeah. Alrighty. So those two are the ones that are going to be outside of the week. The gala reception, which will be June 2nd. The theme is going to be the pride flag and the color symbolism. A lot of people don't actually know that each color in the pride flag has a specific meaning. So we're hoping to highlight that. And it's actually very funny because it ended up landing on Gilbert Baker's birthday. So Gilbert Baker's the original artist who created that flag. And it wasn't planned that way, but it just ended up working out that that's the day that Gala is going to have their reception. Simultaneously on that day, there will also be a Pride zine that's being curated by Olivia and Nicole Worth, local artists, to highlight some written works and other pieces in a magazine of LGBTQ+ artists around the city. They got one of the smaller Lynn-Spire grants for that project. So that's the first thing in the month. And then getting into the main week, sorry, this will be long-winded. The Sunday, the 18th, the main week's going to be opened up with the Pride service at St. Stephen's Episcopal Church on the Commons. And they did it last year. It's just supposed to be a welcoming and opening service at the church for anybody who wants to practice that reflection or connection with their faith. The priest at St. Stephen's is an openly gay man. So everyone is welcome. You can come as you are. I'd like to encourage people to dress in their Sunday best. I'll be putting on a nice tie. Maybe I'll break out a big hat so people can come out. It also is going to land, it also overlaps with Father's Day. So we're also trying to make it that it's a space for people who might not have a traditional father figure in their household, either that or to also just honor if there's an LGBTQ+ couple of parents, who serve in that same father role. I don't want to get on a tangent on genders and everything. So that's the Sunday opening. Then on Monday, we're going to be doing our panel discussion again at the Lynn Museum, and there will also be a second art gallery there, which is an LGBTQ+ showcase. So unlike the Gala one, that's more curated on a specific theme, this one is just to highlight any work that an LGBTQ artist might have.
Nice.
And for the panel discussion, it's going to focus this year on education and the importance of being able to discuss gender and sexuality in the classroom, which right now is a pretty pertinent topic, not just here, but also across the country. The Tuesday, we're gonna have the flag raising at City Hall. As always, this one has been going on for over a decade, so that'll be at 5 p.m. And there will be some speeches, there will be some entertainment. I'll most likely give a speech. I imagine our City Councilor Coco, who's sort of spearheaded the flag raising at its inception, will give some speeches. The mayor gave a speech last year. I imagine he'll give a speech again this year. After that, we'll be having our community meal, which will be the second year of it, again at St. Stephen's Church, which is, I hope, will be a great space for people to come, make new connections, meet some other folks who are from the LGBTQ+ community in the city, and bond, make new friendships. And then after that, we're gonna go to downtown, I was gonna say downtown Crossing, but just downtown Lynn for the Rainbow Underpass, where we're gonna do the bridge lighting again. For anyone who's not familiar, downtown Beyond Walls has an installation of rainbow lights. And it's a great spot to just enjoy the festivities. We're planning to honor somebody again this year. Last year was the first time we began honoring folks who are doing great work in the LGBTQ+ community in the city of Lynn historically, but might not have quite gotten their flowers. Last year we honored Tish Sterling, who colloquially is known as the Queen of Lynn. Yeah. So it was a great experience to do that last year for her, and we're hoping to continue that tradition. Mm-hmm. Then the Wednesday, we'll be doing our paint night at Gala again, which will be led by Sunil, local artist. Another great time to just come out, enjoy the festivities, creative expression. No need to have prior art experience, just come, enjoy yourself. have a little bit of wine. So this will be a 21+ event because there will be wine. The Thursday will be the Zumba-thon at the YMCA, where folks can go work up a sweat, don bright, colorful athletic gear. The photos from that event last year, it was like a lot of people had a lot of the rainbows over there. So come out, have a good time doing that on the Thursday. There should also be some tables there for resources. We're hoping to invite in different organizations because, as I mentioned towards the beginning, there aren't a ton of ones specifically doing things here in the city. So I'm hoping to reach out to some folks from Boston, some folks from Salem, and seeing if they'd be willing to come out and let the community know what they have to offer specifically for the LGBTQ+ community. Then the Friday, we'll have our Youth Pride event, which I know there's a photo of the Youth Pride event where we had an artist who's a local youth, well, the whole group, I think, are local youth from Lynn, who'll be performing. It's a great chance for the young people to come out and just have a good time. Because, my background is sort of like in youth work, so that's one that I'm really passionate about. I love offering opportunities for the young people to come out and enjoy themselves. And yeah, just give them the spotlight. After that will be our nightlife event. So for the adults, again, another 21+ event because there will be, libations. And people can come out, have a good time, dance. And yeah, again, socialize, hopefully make a connection, meet some friends. And then the Saturday, closing off that week, I know this has been a lot. The Saturday, we were invited by North Shore Pride in Salem to have a marching group go down there and formally march as the organization. So we're hoping to get together some people, have folks volunteer. Right now, I think it's in the air if we're gonna rent a bus or just do a carpool situation. But either way, people will get there and we'll march. People can don more rainbow gear. I'm hoping to get some little tchotchkes, like candy you can throw out, some bubbles, balloons too, maybe we'll do balloons too. Yeah, and that's the whole week. Then I don't want to forget, because after that week, we're also on Wednesday collaborating with Kayak and Sail Lynn to do an outdoors event. Registration for that will be on their website, but we'll have a link on our website to link to their website, just because I know that will be limited space. But it's a chance to paddle out on the water, get out in nature. I think there will also be some lanterns or some type of device that's going to be lit up on the water. And yeah, just another great event to highlight the LGBTQ+ community, have people come out, socialize, and hopefully get more involved and interested in the organization, long-standing even outside of June.
Oh yeah, so it sounds like an amazing week of events. Sounds like fun.
It's a lot, yeah.
I'm really into this. And as you said, create relationships that expand. Yes, June is Pride Month, but obviously LGBTQ+ is important all year round. So for folks who maybe get involved in one of these events and want to be more involved in the organization, what are some options for that?
Yeah, so to get involved, they can visit the website, and there's a formal page on there where they can sign up to be notified about all of the opportunities that we'll have upcoming in the future. Imagine if they visit the website, there'll be some specific ones, but there's also a link just for if you want to know anything that's going to be up and coming. And yeah, if they reach out via that formal page, they can also send an email via that website. Even if they sent out a message via social media, hopefully it'll give me 1 or 2 business days to get to the message, but I do typically respond. And I would love for people to be more involved because, like you said, it's important to not just have Pride in the month of June, but I know the term is Pride 365 all year round. And as we're a young organization, I would love for it to grow to be more of a sustainable item here in the city of Lynn to service folks year round because, like I mentioned towards the beginning, as soon as the organization started to get just a little bit formalized, people were reaching out, looking for assistance, looking for help, trying to find that community. So I would love for it to become more substantial. And also, the donations would obviously be helpful. Right now, we're doing very good in terms of donations and grants specifically for the month of June for the Pride events. But, if we could get a sustainable base of monthly donors, it would help us better serve the community year round.
And you said you're a young organization, but you've already built a very impressive one, and clearly filling a need that people want, that any people in the community really need.
Oh yeah, Yeah, I really want to be able to provide anything that people are looking for. I mean, I won't go into specifics about everything that people have reached out for, but I've had members of like the immigrant community, people looking specifically for LGBTQ plus safe housing, and it's unfortunate that our organization isn't at a position where it's like, we can directly provide you those things, so I have to refer them out, and just let them know, I'll write a letter of support for anyone looking for housing or something like that. But yes, that's very important to be able to get folks whatever resource they might be looking for, and hopefully being able to do it more directly in the future. Something very intentional for the website was I wanted to make sure that it was in English and in Spanish, because I knew that the community here in Lynn is substantial Latin American population. So I wanted to also be able to make sure that those resources were accessible to them as well. If I learn Khmer, hopefully in the future, if I pick up Khmer, I will translate the whole website into Khmer as well.
No, but still, yeah, you make it very accessible, very open, very welcoming organization for all, which is great to hear about. And I feel this went so fast, but I want to thank you for coming on to discuss it, the events, and all of that.
Thank you for having me.
Great. And once again, this has been the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori, and we'll see you next week with more guests. Up next, the community calendar. Monday the 5th is the first in a series of open houses being put on by LCTV. Each ward has a different week, with Ward 1 up first. These events are open to anyone in the community, and you can come on any of the Mondays, even if it is not your ward's night. They are running from now until the end of July on Mondays from 6 to 8 p.m., skipping the week of July 4th. For more information, visit our website, lyntv.org. Next weekend, there is a Knit and Crochet in Public Day on the front lawn of the Grace United Methodist Church, 374 Broadway. Hosted by the Community Warmth Project, the event is running from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturday, June 10th, and all are welcome to participate in this free event. There will be a small Learn to Knit lesson, as well as a yarn swap table. Tuesday the 13th, there's a Juneteenth flag raising at City Hall, beginning at 6:30 p.m. and sponsored by the North Shore Juneteenth Association. Come down for the flag raising and the reciting of the Black National Anthem and poetry. That brings us to the end of the news for this week. For more information on these events, as well as press releases and videos, go to lyntv.org. And follow us on social media at Lynn Community Television for updates and to keep up to date on what is happening around Lynn. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Lynn Community Television, for interviews, event coverage, and more. I'm Dani Vittori, this is LCTV News, and we will see you next week.